Hey everybody, this is Michadini. I want to thank you guys for joining in on my YouTube post. If you haven't already, please visit www.michadini.com. That's www.michadini.com. And again, thank you for joining in the YouTube post. All right. What I wanted to discuss today and touch on today is the Tea Party. Just yesterday, Barack Obama, our president, went to Arizona. Arizona is known for its Tea Party and a lot of things that's, I think the state needs to be more broken into 2011. I mean, they're talking about banning African American studies, immigration laws. They don't want the immigrants, and Arizona is like right next to Mexico. I don't understand it. I think they would be a little more friendlier to the fact that, Mexico's like right there next to them, and California and everything, it's kind of weird. And the Tea Party. Tea Party's known for being in Arizona. It's a big thing for Arizona. Since Obama won, they started this Tea Party thing, and John McCain and all that. It's quite weird. But yesterday, January the 12th, 2011, January 12th, 2011, Obama went to Arizona to basically talk about what happened, his thoughts of what happened, and to give his condolences to those who got shot by this one guy who was trying to shoot the Democratic congresswoman. Those who know about the midterm elections in 2010 know that it's a lot of Republicans basically got the seats, so making it hard for Obama to do whatever he has to do, and the Democrats to get their objectives done. And I really want to touch on the Tea Party for the fact that I'm very upset with Arizona. I'm very upset with America in general. People worked hard to vote Obama in office, and we kind of just stopped there for some reason. A lot of us went to the voting polls or midterm election, and that's cool, but you can't just vote, because obviously in the George Bush, with his campaigns and his elections, Cynthia McKinney, Congresswoman Cynthia McKinney of Atlanta, she actually touched on a lot of things, and she actually did her homework with the George Bush elections and stuff, and found out that it's all about the money. It's not really about the votes. Whoever has the most money wins office. They'll pay for some middleman to come through, some middleman meaning a company or corporation to come through and to manipulate the votes in a way where they'll get their candidate in office that's going to support their agenda and their needs. So, and that's something that's a known fact. People, a good DVD to get, go to your library, ask for American Blackout. It's about Cynthia McKinney, the congresswoman from Atlanta. She's in the Green Party now. She was a Democrat. And she basically exposed the hidden manipulation and deception within the politics itself. And I think a lot of people need to really get on that, so they'll know that it's not just voting, it's unity, it's getting our money together and doing something bigger and better. All right. A lot of people throw the race card in here. Well, talk about the race card. Let's talk about that too. The Tea Party is racist, period. It's racist, it's class discriminating, it's discriminating against certain classes, and it's unpatriotic. It's unpatriotic. America's a big melting pot of a country, and being a melting pot of a country, we have different classes, we have different people, all nationalities, and that's the best thing about the United States of America, is that it's truly united. And when you have a country like that, a Tea Party is not what we consider patriotic. All right, it's very, very, very racist, unpatriotic, and class discriminating. Um, I want to touch on the race card. People talk about the race card a lot. You know, since Obama got in office, all of a sudden Tea Party comes out of nowhere. Yeah, it's true, but the Tea Party, you know, it's talking about want our country back. As soon as Obama got in office, you know, that's something that the Tea Party said. We want our country back. When Obama got, what the hell that mean? You know, like Obama's not a, you know, what they think he is. You know what I'm saying? He's not the commander in chief. You know what I'm saying? He's like the front man. He's like a CEO of the country, and he's not the founder. You know, he's not the board of directors. You know, that's the British. They are. You know, and I'll tell you something. We won our independence in 1776. Okay. Thomas Jefferson, Thomas Paine, and President Adams. They were all against the British. You know, the British imperialist, colonial way of doing things. They was against it. Okay. They then tried to come back again when Andrew Jackson was in office. Not in office, but he was a general. He was a general in 1815 in the Battle of the New Orleans, the Battle of New Orleans. The British tried to come through New Orleans, and we stopped them. And you know, it was some blacks in there, some Native Americans was helping out the British, trying to get their land back and stuff like that. It was crazy, but you know, the slaves being free, that would have been something else. I mean, Thomas Jefferson, he did a lot for a lot of his slaves. The ones he cared about the most, he let free. He let them go be independent. A lot of us is still dependent on Democrats or Republicans, and we're not making our own party. That's a whole different issue. But to have a united America, a country, we don't need to divide it anymore than what's already divided. You know, the race card itself, the biggest race card is capitalism. So when people say, oh, you know, I love capitalism, that's a race card. That's a race card. Why? Because what has capitalism done for China? You know, oh yeah, people say, oh, China's doing better. You know, manufacturers are leaving America, going to China to pay lower wages to their employees, their China employees. Okay, yeah, you know, they're doing good on that end. But what about killing their daughters? Killing their daughters. They believe there's not enough resources for all of them. Why? Because it's a capitalist theory that, hey, you know, we all need, it's not enough resources economically, so we got to lessen the humanity. No, humanities always should be more than our resources. It's how we unify to share those resources. So what have capitalism actually done for China? It's destroying them as Chinamen and women, especially the women. What has capitalism done for India? Really think about this. Before the British invaded India, India didn't know too much about capitalism. You know, it's just, you know, living their lives and everything, doing what they do. And the British invaded India. Gandhi came along and fought the British off. Gandhi fought the British off by cleverly uniting Indian people. He did it in a clever way. And Gandhi's a clever person, very smart. And he united India. He always wanted a united India. That's all he ever wanted. All right. In return, this is what capitalists did. This is what capitalism, this race card capitalism that a lot of people throw and don't understand is a race card. But the British left India divided. They left India divided by religion and social class, different social classes. Hence the demise of Gandhi. You know, because Gandhi wanted a unified India. He tried to through religion. It was different religions and stuff, and he tried to get them to unify as a country, and they didn't want to unify with that religion, but they unified to get the British out. Okay, and the British wanted that. They wanted that craziness to go on. You know, the anarchy, whatever. You know, the weird stuff. But and you know, again, what have capitalism done for Africa and Native Americans? You know, I don't really have to go too far into that. Everybody know Africa is raped. It's a country that's raped, constantly being raped. And everybody know that Native Americans have been pushed into capitalistic lands of America. It's weird, but it's true. You know, capitalism is a race card. And here's a quote from Karl Marx. Once the interconnection is grasped, all theoretical belief in the permanent necessities of existing conditions breaks down before their collapse in practice. And that's Karl Marx. A lot of people are like, what does that mean? And this is what Karl Marx had done. He has significantly excavated and brought to light not only the interconnections of the system of capitalism, which had become the dominant form of exploitation in Europe and was increasingly colonizing large parts of the world, but also the interconnections between capitalism and all previous forms of human society. All right, and that was actually from a newspaper from the Revolutionary Communist Party, which have pretty good objectives and ideas, and I think some of it should be considered into suggestion, into American society today. I'm all about sharing and unity, but as far as communism go, my only problem with communism is that property is commonly controlled. I don't think people, in any form of economy, there's always going to be somebody better than someone else, and I think I love the rags to riches stories. I love those, and I think we need to keep that in America, but we need to, in a way, work on getting ourselves out individually in a way while we're helping the whole. We're not helping the whole with the Tea Party. We're not helping the whole by discriminating classes and being racist and religious, going against religion, trying to gain capitalism, the race card capitalism, trying to gain off religion, race, social classes. That's not going to help America. That's not going to help unify America to get the British the hell out. All right, the British is our enemy. They always been. They always been. And those who don't understand, learn your American history. They always been our enemy. We never wanted them. Thomas Jefferson, Andrew Jackson, Thomas Paine, who did a great part in the American Revolution. They all turning in their graves right now. They're all turning in their graves right now. Just looking at America like, dang, they're controlled by the British and the British imperialists and the elite. That the British don't mind having them up there with them, being an elite. We need to cut out all middlemen. Obama did this speech yesterday, January 12th, in Arizona, 2011, and he talking about unity. That's great. We need to unify. But the problem is that no one's giving out suggestions. I think, credit card companies, if they're going to try to get money, maybe they shouldn't try to get it from the merchants. Because a lot of people want to start businesses but don't have the money to do it. Maybe they should do it for free. They get a percentage anyway from the people, using the credit cards, but they shouldn't get 5%. That's a little too much. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 1 to 2%, depending on how many people using credit cards. But you shouldn't make it tough for people to start their own business. It wasn't like that back in the old days. It shouldn't be like that now. All right. And another thing is the Green Party. I really don't agree with none of the Green Party. If you want to go green, truly, being Amish, doing the things the Amish do, not being Amish, but doing the things that the Amish do, is truly going green. Living off the land and respecting the land for what it is, instead of trying to live off technology. That's going towards like more of a destroying humanity, having technology overthrow humanity type of deal. You relying on credit cards and computers now. What's next? Chips inside the people's fingers, chips inside people's heads. You know what I'm saying? What's next? And they're gonna all do this by saying, "Oh, we're going green. We're gonna go green. It's gonna save the trees." Come on, think, people. Thank you for your time. Thank you.